God originally placed us on a plant-based, raw, vegan diet. What's up? It's Johanna with God is Glamorous. We learn how to live our best lives through Jesus Christ. And today, I want to talk about a really sensitive topic, and that is the topic of food. That's right, I'm coming for your plate. But trust me, after this video, it's gonna be so beneficial. Your whole life is gonna change, and you're gonna have a newfound mindset when it comes to food. So the other day I was talking with my friends and I asked them if they wanted to go on a prayer and fast with me. And one of them said, oh, no, I don't wanna do that. It is the month of November, it's Thanksgiving. We're not gonna fast this month. We can fast in the new year. And honestly, that kind of scared me a little bit because I was like, man, if the devil was listening to our conversation right now, he would definitely try to bring some spiritual warfare during the time of Thanksgiving and the holiday season, because he knows that it's very unlikely that there is going to be a Christian that's fasting around the holiday season. And it made me realize that we as Christians, a lot of the times, have still not really gotten our appetite under control. And it's really important for us to be able to control our appetite, because just like the enemy used food thousands of years ago to tempt people, he still uses food today to tempt us, and he still uses food to kill, steal, and destroy. And I believe one of the reasons why the enemy still uses food is because we as Christians and people in general have not learned how to conquer our appetite or to be disciplined within the area of what we eat. Jesus tells us that some things are only broken by prayer and through fasting, meaning that things can only be broken when we turn away from our plate, when we stop eating food. And as Christians, it's really important to get our appetite under control, because if we don't, we could be in for some serious spiritual warfare that can only be broken once we learn how to say no to food. All right, the first point that I want to make is the fact that the enemy still uses food to kill, steal, and destroy. Don't believe me? Check this out. The first temptation that the devil used was food, by tempting Adam and Eve with just some simple fruit, because he realizes that people, even Christians, don't really know how to control their appetite when it comes to the things that we eat. The enemy still uses food to kill, steal, and destroy. Don't believe me? If we eat too much apple pie, too much candy, too many Reese peanut butter cups, we may end up with diabetes. If we eat too much fried chicken, too much fried Oreos, too much Burger King, we may end up with heart disease or high blood pressure. The enemy uses food to try to prematurely kill us or make us sick. And because of that, we have to be mindful of what we should be eating versus what we should not be eating. The enemy even tried to tempt Jesus with food. He tried to get Jesus to turn some stone into bread. If we look at Esau traded his entire birthright just for a bowl of soup because he was hungry. Y'all, the enemy uses food to try to steal our purpose, to cause us to stumble, to get us sick, to prematurely kill us. And because of that, we have to learn how to control our appetite. We have to have a mind to fast regularly. It's so important. Number two, I also want us to be reminded of the fact that God's purpose for food is intended to bring healing and to keep us in great health. Some of y'all may not like this, but when you go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, God originally placed us on a plant-based, raw, vegan diet. God originally intended for us to only eat fruits and vegetables, not fried chicken, not baked bread, not Oreos, not candy, none of that. The original diet for us were leafy greens and fruits. God literally says, I give you every seed-bearing plant and every tree that bears fruit. That will be food for you. He even said the animals will eat the same thing. Back in Genesis, in God's original plan and design, it was for all of us, including animals, to be on a plant-based diet. It wasn't until sin entered the world when God allowed us to finally eat meat. God tells us in Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, he says, my people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. If we are not knowledgeable about the foods that God has ordained us to eat, we could ultimately be destroyed. Our house could be destroyed. Our lives could be destroyed prematurely because we are too busy battling sickness and disease because of the food that we may have eaten. So yes, although Jesus declared all food good to eat and clean and all that, we still have to remember where Paul says that although I can do everything, not all things are beneficial. Just because we have free reign to eat whatever we want now doesn't mean that we should be eating whatever we want. We still have to have that knowledge and understanding of what our body truly craves and what is really going to make us healthy and not sick. And ultimately that comes down to the food that we eat. A lot of y'all may not like this, but I'm going to take it a step further. Some of us are praying for healing. Oh God, heal my diabetes. Oh God, lower my blood pressure. But you are not willing to get rid of the foods that are causing it in the first place. The Bible says faith without works is dead. God can heal your diabetes and sickness all he wants to, but if you aren't intentional about getting to the root of the problem of your sickness, there are chances that it may even come back. God can heal your diabetes. God can heal the high blood pressure. God can heal anything. But you also may have to ask yourself, what is really causing this disease? What is really causing this sickness? Is it the food that I'm eating? If so, let me find out. Am I eating too much sugar? Maybe if I stop eating so much sugar, I can reverse my diabetes. Am I eating too much fried chicken? Maybe if I stop eating so much processed food, I can get rid of the high blood pressure. Hey, I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to be, but I know that health is also in the foods that we eat as well. So also please be mindful of the foods that you eat, because there is healing in food as long as you eat the right foods. Last but not least, another one y'all are not gonna like, but I promise it's gonna be so beneficial to you. God will speak to you and tell you what foods that he wants you to eat and not to eat. He speaks to you through your gut. No pun intended. He speaks to you through your conscience. How many times were you at your favorite restaurant and you said, oh man, I really shouldn't eat this, but I'm gonna eat it anyway? How many times where you were tempted to get a drink and you're like, man, I really shouldn't get a second drink, but I'm gonna do it anyway? That's God speaking to you. God speaks to us through our intuition, through our conscience. Don't believe me? How many times have you looked at a salad and said, I really shouldn't eat that salad today? Never. Because God is always going to speak and you're always going to know, hey, this is good for you. But God speaks when you shouldn't be eating certain things. In Romans chapter 14, verse 23, it says that if you eat something that you believe you should not eat, but you eat it anyway, you are sinning because you are not following your convictions. If you do anything that you believe is not right, you are sinning. Romans chapter 14, verse 23. God will literally speak to you regarding the foods that you should eat. And it's up to us to obey that voice, because ultimately God always has the best intentions in mind for us. God cares about every single thing that we do, even when it comes down to the food that we eat and consume. I say all of this to say that as Christians, yes, the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, but the fruit of the Spirit is also self-control, self-discipline. And that is within all areas of our life, even when it comes to the food that we eat. So Christians, ladies, gentlemen, I encourage you to practice more self-discipline when it comes to food, because the enemy still uses food to tempt us today. And he still uses food to try to steal, kill, and destroy us even to this day. So have a heart to fast, have a heart and a desire to go on fast regularly, because they will truly equip you in the Spirit and give you more of the self-discipline that you need in order to say no to the foods that God does not want you to eat. That's all I got for you. I love you so much. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. But other than that, if you are new, hello, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. I post every single week. And thank you so much. And I will talk with you next week. Stay glamorous.